And these are the blocks I'd recommend to start with.
Okay.
So the 4 small or light armor block, gyroscope, small reactor, cockpit. Those are the basics to build the ship. You're also going to want at least the small thruster, and I'd put the antenna on there for good measure. So that should fill up your whole bar.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and hit G again when you're out of that menu.
Okay.
You'll see in the bottom left corner, new small ship, new large ship, new station.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start with a new small ship, so go ahead and click that.
Alright.
And a landing gear should appear.
It did.
Okay. If you put it against the platform there, it'll snap to a specific orientation and show that it can be placed.
Yes.
Now you can go ahead and do this. However, I find it doesn't give you good access to the bottom of the ship. So if you're going to build this attached to something, you see that large arm that's going off the platform?
Yeah.
And attach it up there.
I think I did.
Just so you have access to the bottom of the ship real easy. And so long as it's against it and you hit the left mouse button, it'll click and the landing gear will be locked in place. This way your ship will not fly away while you're working on it.
Alright, cool.
This first ship is not going to have a conveyor system or cargo holds. So right now we just want it to fly.
Alright.
So go ahead and with the light armor blocks, go ahead and build a platform, whatever you want. And while you're doing that, anyone have any other questions, Vanessa?
Nope. Unless you want to talk about butt stuff.
Bug stuff?
No, butt stuff. BUTTS, butts.
I don't have a lot to attribute other than all about that base.
Are you all about that base?
Oh, yeah. All about it.
Alright, I got too crazy with what I was doing here.
Again, you can right-click to delete.
Where do you get resources in game?
All the resources either come from ships that you grind down to build for yourself, or from the asteroids. The asteroids all have different types of minerals and ores, and you mine those with the miners, and bring them over to your refineries. Refiners will process them into materials that your assemblers can use, and the assemblers build components for the blocks that you build. Now we are gonna get into that sort of thing, the survival portion, which is gonna be in a more advanced building video. Right now we just want to show how a ship is built, the basic mechanics, before we start getting into resource gathering, because that gets into more complicated things. One thing I will note, you'll always want to have in a game, is a medical room. But Shane, are you free?
Yeah, I'm just like trying to mess with the orientation of stupid blocks.
He's trying to make it look pretty.
I see, yeah, we don't have to get too complicated right now.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna
If you
make...
come down to the platform, where remember those landing gear that are upside down on the platform? The
Yeah.
terminals? Yeah. Right across from those is the medical room. This does is if you die, it lets you spawn back into the game. This is mainly for survival. And if you use a medical room to spawn back in, you don't lose ownership of anything you've built. If you spawn back in, say, with a respawn ship, you will lose ownership of everything, which can really screw you over. Because that means if you have defenses, they'll fire on you.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Yes, it also means you won't be able to use any of your ships.
Are there any enemies in this game?
Not technically yet. One thing that they have added are cargo ships. You can have automated cargo ships that will fly through your area. That's mainly where if you want to raid and salvage, you do it off those ships. Now those ships are armed quite extensively, and you've got to be really careful about how you approach most of those, because if you have an exposed cockpit design, I've noticed the turrets on those really love to shoot out your cockpit, which is, as you can guess, not a good thing. They will rip you apart as a person pretty fast. They did say they are going to be adding more complicated AI and enemies down the road, but they aren't sure how much they're going to get into that.
Okay.
It's more about space survival. There is a setting where you can add asteroids, where they will actually create like asteroid showers or meteor showers.
Yeah, I saw that option.
I don't recommend that for a new beginner because even on low asteroid settings, they come all the time.
Oh, really?
And they will really destroy a lot of what you build. Now, turrets do mitigate those because the turrets can shoot at the asteroids and break them up.
Okay.
But you need a pretty decent grid to stand a chance.
So you'd have to get a lot of turrets set up there and ready to go.
For a small area, I would say at least 4 or 5 turrets, and even then you're going to still take some damage. Now, one thing it is great about this game is it does have mod support, and it has blueprint support and Steam Workshop. So if you go to the workshop, you'll see all sorts of ships other people have built. Some of them are pretty crazy, as well as new blocks, textures, and other materials that you can add to your game to add variety.
Does that have a
just
pretty large community?
Oh, it's huge, yes. For instance, does anyone here fans of Deep Space Nine?
I like Star Trek.
There are Star Trek ships on the workshop. If you're a fan of Deep Space Nine, they put the Babylon
Okay.
station and the Agamemnon Omega cruiser on there. However, you got to have kind of a beast of machine to be able to run that.
I see a lot of components in those.
Yes. And if you're a 40K fan, somebody put one of their larger destroyer ships on there, which it's beautiful inside.
That's cool.
How's your ship coming, platform wise?
I think I'm pretty good.
Okay, so go ahead and place your cockpit how you want it.
Okay.
Cockpit.
Now, when you place the cockpit, you may notice at the back of it there is also an access door. If you wanted to create a small ship, basically with an interior, you could.
Oh.
Still get to your
okay. I didn't do that,
And-
but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and of course, once you get into rotors and pistons, you can create doors into your ship and everything. You can get it pretty complicated and pretty awesome. One note with station and large ship building: if you want to build a carrier, wherever you store your small ships, I highly recommend using either heavy armor blocks, or blast door blocks for their platforms where they land, because those blocks will not be melted by small ship thrusters.
Ooh, alright.
Once you've placed your cockpit, go ahead and place your gyroscopes.
Alright, so
I'd recommend 1 or 2.
you said alright, 1 or 2. Alright, I've got 1.
So we're just doing a beginner ship. It doesn't have to be 2 maneuver.
Okay, cool. I've got 2 in there.
And then I'd place one of those small reactors.
Alright, I don't know if I put the small reactor in here. There it is.
Remember, we are in creative, so none of them require supplies or fuel to run those reactors, but normally they would need uranium.
Okay, cool. I've got 1 in there.
Alright. Now, when it comes to placing thrusters, you're going to have at least one in every direction in order to have full maneuverability of your ship. So, in Space Engineers, it's all based on blocks. So you need one thruster facing in each of the 6 directions.
Okay.
So normally, for a small ship, I'd put 2 in front, 2 small thrusters in front, 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side. Same facing up and down. And then 4 facing back.
Alright. I have a few too many facing backward, it looks like. Okay. And...
Okay, now,
ooh, wow. I accidentally deleted a block that was attached to another block, and now one of the thrusters is flying out into space.
that is one good point to remember. You've got to watch very closely how you place your blocks.
Okay.
Otherwise, that will happen.
That is
I've
interesting.
accidentally disconnected a block that kept half my ship connected to the other half.
Oh,
And
no.
it floated out into space.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was in survival, so that was not.
Yeah, I'd imagine that'd be kind of devastating. Okay, let's try to get another... having trouble connecting this other thruster to the top. Alright, I see what I'm doing wrong. Alright, cool.
Now, one more block to place would be the antenna.
Alright, I've got my antenna on there already.
Okay, perfect.
Now, does the antenna have to be in a certain area? I mean, will it operate through other blocks, or how does that work?
It doesn't have to be anywhere specific.
Okay.
As long as it's on the ship, it'll transmit. But remember, the antenna is showing where it is on the ship, not where the ship proper is. It doesn't like put itself in the center of mass of the ship.
I see.
Right. So now you have a ship that can fly. One thing I would go into is when you get into the ship, go ahead and hit I or K. Either one will pull up the terminal.
Alright, so get in here. Okay.
And you see you do have an inventory tab.
Yes.
That'll show you any cargo you have on the ship. That doesn't necessarily mean you can access any of it directly from the cockpit, but you can move it around the ship if you have a conveyor system.
I see.
And you have the control panel. This will show you the different blocks that require power control. If you just look at any one of them, you can see there are multiple commands you can give each one.
Okay.
If you go to the antenna here, you can show its broadcast range. The wider
Yes.
the wider it broadcasts, the more power it uses.
Oh, alright.
You can check it so it shows ship name,
I see. Okay.
and you see enable broadcasting there.
Yes.
If you enable broadcasting, that means other people can see you and you can see it. But if you uncheck that, then you can still see other things in the area, however people can't see you.
Blocky McBlockerson.
Let's check it out.
Now, the one thing about that is if you have broadcasting disabled, you can't remote control other things from you and they can't remote control you. So
Oh, okay.
it has its benefits and its disadvantages as well.
I see.
Now in the terminal again, go over to Info tab.
Alright, what am I going to now? Info. Alright, cool.
What, that
It'll show
name
you how many
wasn't good enough
blocks
for
you
you?
have,
Yeah.
thrusters, lights, that sort of thing. But you also will see here it has some other nice features like showing the center of the mass, the gravity range, tensor field. That's all going to be in advanced settings down the road.
Okay.
Under Info as well, if you owned the ship, you'd be able to change its name. If you go back to the control panel and select all the blocks, transfer it to you.
Okay.
Go back into the info
There it
tab and
is.
see in the right corner. It says what your ship's name is, and you can change it there.
I see what you did there.
Alright, cool. So I'm not, for some reason my antenna is not broadcasting anything.
Do you turn it off?
I don't think I did. It's on. Enable
Is it
broadcast-
enabled broadcasting checked?
Yeah, ensure ship name is checked. I wonder if it's like floating in some weird spot where it's not.
Okay, so in creative mode, this is how I'd figure out if I have a loose block in my ship. Go ahead and get out of it.
Okay.
Now, do the enable copy paste thing, so copy it. And then place it back down.
Ooh, yep, I do, because I just click copy and there's a section of the ship that's it copied.
There you go.
Yep. That
That's
makes
the easiest way I find out if I'm missing parts.
Yep, that makes
Is-
sense.
Because loose parts in a larger ship, once you start moving, can cause the whole thing to explode.
Ooh.
Yes, I have had 12 hours of work go down the drain. Because
Yeah,
of that.
that would be
I also had
very,
autosave turned on.
that would be very that'd piss me off for sure.
I just see the keyboard just flying across the room. God damn it!
Luckily, it's not wireless, so it only went 2 feet.
Yeah, last time I did that I broke mine.
It was a very sad day.
Alright, there. That looks better.
Okay.
Alright, now let me get in there and check that out. Antenna on, broadcasting on, cool.
You need to be owning at least more than 50% of the blocks in a ship in order to change its name.
Okay. Yeah, the antenna's working now, so that's cool.
Perfect.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, I see.
I was going to name mine after your character in D&D there, Shane, but since we never gave it a name, I just named it Bob.
Cool. I'm definitely enjoying this a lot more now that I understand
Awesome.
what's going on here.
Okay. Your ship is now ready to fly. So go ahead and get in her, and if it's still attached to the station, you hit P to disengage the landing gear,
Okay.
and go ahead and fly away.
This is the weirdest looking ship ever.
Now, one thing you may notice, we only put one reactor on there,
Yeah.
and if you look over at power usage, you're in overload.
Yep.
So one thing I often did in creative before I built ships is I'd say I want this many thrusters, this many gyroscopes, this antenna on a ship, and just slap those all together
Mm-hmm.
and see how many how many reactors it needed in order to power it without overloading and being usually under 50% power. Just because I'm weird like that. So go ahead and get back out of it and place, let's say, 2 more reactors on our ship.
I accidentally forgot to put upward thrusters on it, so now I'm kind of following it downward.
Okay, if one of the things when I see a ship escaping me,
Alright, there we go.
I will often turn off my inertial dampeners and try and match its speed.
Okay.
Were you
Okay.
missing your landing gear too?
Yeah, I didn't have the back landing gear on there. Alright, cool, cool.
Okay, so now that we placed a couple more, you'll notice just flying around, we don't overload the reactor. But go ahead and get it up to top speed, which is 104 meters per second.
Is that the top speed for any vehicle in the game?
That's the top. Yes, for ships, 104 meters per second is the top speed. For the little engineer, it's 111 meters per second. Now that's just for stability reasons.
Turns on a dime.
Yeah, this thing's nice.
Now you noticed when you turned, your power usage went into the red. When your inertial dampeners, you notice how they fire to slow you down.
Yes. Yeah.
They actually have more thrust for dampening than they do for forward or motion.
Interesting. Okay.
So when you're controlling the thrusters, you're only getting about, I think it's 75% of the max what it can output. Or when it's dampening, it does 100. So now if you're just flying around, you can hit Z, and then you're no longer bound your dampening. You slides and everything.
Oh, and that's cool. And then you can throw the inertial dampener on if you want to make a hard cut
Right.
back the other way. That's cool.
If you don't exactly, if you don't care about the ship, I would crash it into red 1 because that's what I'm doing with mine.
Okay. I'm gonna turn
Just
around.
to give you just to give you an idea. Try and get up to max speed before you do it too. This isn't for tutorial. This is just because it's fun.
All right, here we go. Ah! All
You
right.
notice how tough.
Yeah,
ships are
that ship,
based on
that red one just took the hit like a champ.
Okay. So now I have to go over conveyors. So go ahead and go back to the platform,
Okay.
and in your menu, select small cargo container and put that on your toolbar.
Probably should lock this guy down. Shit.
You're just gonna land on his ship.
I'm just gonna land on that stupid shit.
Again, be careful with your thrusters around fighters you want to keep, because you can burn other ships with your thrusters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, I use that often as a breaching tool. Like, I'll have landing gear latch me to a ship and then burn through it with thrusters. Get inside.
That's pretty cool. Alright, so I'm going to my item thing and going to the small cargo, you said?
You want to put small cargo container on there,
Okay.
and you're going to want to put the conveyor tube.
Conveyor tube. Alright.
Conveyor.
Okay.
Connector.
Okay.
Slap a reactor on there as well. A large cargo container. You should still have room for an assembler and a refinery.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and start by putting down the small cargo container on the platform.
Alright, let me find a space here I can work on.
Remember, you can always control X to delete ships.
Hey, I'm just gonna delete all this crap we built. Alright, starting with the small cargo container. Alright.
So what's nice about small cargo containers on large ships is if you notice they have doors on all sides.
Yeah.
Now put the actual conveyor next to it.
Okay.
Notice how the conveyor has doors on all sides.
Yes.
Well, conveyors themselves, they aren't necessary in a network to move things. You just need tubes or doors that are connected to doors, basically.
Ah, okay, I see.
So So if you have the resources in survival, I would use small cargo containers over conveyors because that's extra storage. And I'm all...
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Okay, so from the small cargo container, go ahead and select your conveyor tube.
Okay.
And place that against one of the doors.
Alright.
Then place a reactor, small reactor.
Okay.
And make sure one of the doors in the reactor is touching the tubes.
Yep. Oh, wait.
You'll
Wait.
notice-
No, I see what you're saying. Cool, cool.
Yeah. You see how the tubes are red?
Yeah.
Red. Once you place the reactor with the door facing the tubes, notice the color will change.
Yep, changed to yellow.
Yep, that means it is a positive connection and things can be transferred between them. I'm going to get into something here real quick that I was saving for advanced, but it's just to give you materials to use.
Okay.
Go ahead and hit Shift F10.
Alright.
And you see in that under the items tab there that pulled up,
It has the spawn menu, item type. Okay.
yeah, you see item type and it says 200 millimeter missile container.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make 40 of those. And hit spawn object, you'll see it appear in front of you.
Okay.
By the way, at this point you can hit control and use your mouse wheel to zoom things in and out.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
And
helpful.
go ahead and hit the left mouse button, as long as it's over the platform.
Okay, it dropped
Now you
it.
can, now you can go up to it and hit T to pick it up.
Okay, I got it.
Go ahead and go to the cargo container, and when the door is highlighted, hit K.
Okay.
Now you can move those. You can click those or drag them into the small cargo container.
Alright. They're in there.
Another thing you can do is if you control left click on them, they will transfer 10 in between you and the cargo container.
Oh, cool, okay.
Now double click those 10. Go back in the cargo container.
Oh, okay.
Now if you control and drag... No, it's not working. That must be with ore. Never mind. If you right click and drag, once you place it, you can a little menu will pop up that'll let you select how much.
I see.
transfer over.
That's cool, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead and try and put those missiles into the reactor. Through the small cargo container. Hit K on the small cargo container and
Okay.
try and use the conveyor to do it.
Huh, I'm not sure how to do that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to show you. It won't let you
Okay.
move anything but uranium into a reactor.
Oh, okay.
There are other things, such as the arc furnace, that will only accept specific kinds of ores into its inventory. Now, you notice how the reactor had 2 doors on it?
Yes.
Go ahead and put another small cargo container on the next door.
Okay.
And go into the that cargo container,
Alrighty.
and scroll down till you see one with missiles in it, just missiles. Should be cargo container 4, probably.
I actually took those missiles out of there.
Oh.
Here,
Okay.
I'm gonna put them back into 4. Alright. So, alright. So they're back in container 4.
Now, from that menu, go ahead and scroll down and try and place them into 5. Drag them and scroll up and put them in 5.
Okay.
Now go ahead and go back up to 5, and you should be able to get them out of that cargo container.
Alright, I see what you're saying.
So yeah, so even though the nuclear reactor is in between those two cargo containers, and it only accepts uranium, you can still move things through it.
Alright.
So that's the basics of the conveyor network.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Okay, so that's important to know for building things like miners. On that cargo container, go ahead and use your connector, hit 4,
Okay.
and place it so the flat side of that connector with a door on it is facing one of the doors on the cargo container.
Alright.
Now, see, what this lets you do is transfer cargo between ships and stations, or other ships. It also transfers power, and then you can also access the control panel of that ship from the control panel of the other ship or the space station.
Oh, so it lets you kind of dock into another ship.
Exactly. This is also a way of transferring power to, say, ships that have only batteries.
Okay.
So remember the constructor over there that we placed landing gear on?
Yes.
Yeah, it has a connector on top of it.
Let me go check that out. Yep, I see it.
Go ahead and get in that ship.
Okay. Alrighty.
And hit P to disengage the landing gear and fly it over that connector. You're going to have to turn it upside down, of course. And get those connectors to line up.
Oh, this is gonna be rough.
Yeah, the first time you do it is always rough.
Yeah, I don't think the way that I made that door that it's gonna make a natural connection. I need to make one that's off the side a little bit more.
You don't have to use that one. Go ahead and fly. You know that tower where we were building the small ships?
Yes.
There's a connector on the end of that.
Yep, I see it. Whoa!
And usually I do this in third person,
Are you falling
so I
through
can see the
space?
connector.
Yeah, for some reason I pushed the wrong button. I must have. I just jettisoned from my ship.
And you didn't have your jetpack on?
I did not, but it turned it on since I was in.
So long as you're in a gravity field and you're falling, your jetpack will not turn on. As soon as you leave the gravity field, it will turn on.
Okay. Alright, so. Oh, you know what? For some reason, the cockpit of my spaceship is gone. That's kind of.
I could tell you what happened if I was there. I don't know. The miner should still be working, though.
Here, let's try it.
The miner has a connector on it as well.
Oh, does it? Here, I put a cockpit back on this stupid thing. Okay.
One thing to note while building in survival, the reactors and your batteries do not come with power. And conveyor systems require power to work. So if you build a reactor on a ship, and it's not connected with a conveyor while you're building,
Yeah.
to like a station with power, then you're not going to be able to power your ship. So I always build my ships in survival with one reactor, whether it's temporary or permanent, the door facing out that I have access to. So I can place uranium in it to power the ship up. Otherwise, it's just
I
a
see.
useless husk.
Yeah. So, alright, so I think I'm docked with it. I can't.
Is it yellow?
There's a yellow X, yeah.
You notice how it kind of sucked you in too?
Yeah. And it also
Alright, so
it didn't allow me to be in third person viewpoint anymore.
Yeah, sometimes when you're close to stations like that, it'll mess with your ability
Okay.
to view. Did you hit P?
I didn't. Does that lock it on there?
Yes, yellow just means you're able to dock, just like with the landing gear. And then you hit P and that locks you in.
Alright. Let's check it out. Yep.
Now if you try and fly away, it's going to be kind of hard.
Do I have enough thrusters to rip it pieces off there? How is that? No, okay.
I can do it with some larger ships, but it's really not recommended.
Yeah, I imagine so.
So one thing it does here is in a conveyor system, certain blocks have push and pull requests for items.
I see.
For instance, refineries will always request ore. And so if a cargo container has ore in it and it's connected to a refinery, it'll automatically pull that ore to the refinery so long as the refinery's cargo capacity is not already taken up.
Oh, okay.
Then it will process that ore. Now, drills have automatic pushes. A drill will automatically push ore out of its inventory into any available cargo container or refinery. Grinders do the same thing. Assemblers, when you're building, if you tell it to build something, it'll look in the conveyor network. If the parts it needs are in that network, it'll automatically pull those.
Alright, yeah, this is starting to make some more sense.
While this is docked, you see those squares on top of the tower? Have like little doors in them from above?
Let me see.
It's right next to the beacon.
Yeah, I do.
From above, those are collectors. If you drop things into them, it'll be dropped into the conveyor network since they're attached to the conveyor, to those conveyors there.
Oh, so it's like a little hopper on top of there.
Right, exactly. And you can use connectors to drop things or little things on small ships called ejectors. So like if you go into the control panel, you go down to your connector, you'll see an option to collect all where it'll pull everything out of the ship's inventory.